that ended up being losses, he would have been at 11 points. That's just how close it is. That little bit of off form that's cost him. So if he this position, Bishop C4 is known in this line, Knight F3, but Gary already with his king on E2, man, this guy's an attention hog. He always likes us talking about him. He plays these wild lines. What a thing to prepare for this. Well, when have we seen a king's gambit or a king on E2 in any of our broadcasts ever?
And certainly not on move 4, right?
If you guys want to look at that game instead now, I'm all for it.
Well, Knight C3 is, of course, a much less popular move than Knight F3. And Knight C3, it provokes the queen to giving it, whoa, Queen D8.
After a 1-minute tank.
Wow.
That's
Queen D8.
Crazy talk right away.
D4, and this is just Gary with lots of development.
Yes, indeed. Well, if he gets Bishop F4, Knight F3, King F2, White just has a strategically won game.
The game will be over.
I mean, a Queen D8. Okay.
And Sergey continuing to tank. He's going to have almost half as much time as Gary pretty quickly. Knight to F6 played after another 30-second tank.
Bishop takes,
Bishop takes
F4.
Probably met by D5, and that's what Gary's considering if he can stop that. I mean, isn't E5 playable here?
No, E5 is actually a very powerful move, and it just, though, you're going to play Knight G8 after E.
No, you have to play Knight G4, actually, and maybe high.
Oh, yes, because there's no queen takes G4.
That's right.
Yes.
That's actually
But don't think too long, Gary.
Gary
Keep
doesn't
your
want to
time
see.
edge.
He doesn't want to see D5 happen. That's what he's trying to avoid. He's wondering if he can get away with this move. But the
E5
knight on
looks very strong. E5, Knight G4, Bishop takes F4, D6, Knight F3. This just looks very strong for White.
Exactly what he's pondering. Why is he thinking so long now, though? As his time is frittering away, he should be instinctive and just go for the move. But he's certainly looking at exactly that line with the move E5 and Knight G4 and see whether or not he can refute anything in this particular direction. But if he's just going to throw away all his time advantage, come on, it's not a rapid game anymore. It's blitz.
No, he's trying to. I think the fact that Sergey played so slowly is kind of having an influence on him. But the thing is, he's going to need that time later. And he just played Bishop takes F4, declining to play E5, keeping the tension. And
certainly D5 is almost boxed in this position.
Right.
Just throw the pawn out there, and he's thinking again.
And what's the difference of D5, E5? Does White have any independent choices there? I guess you could play, I mean, Knight E4 doesn't look too good.
Well, before Knight E4 was simply impossible, but now it is.
Yeah, now you have it as an option.
And he's starting to study it.
I really don't think there's much of a choice. He has played Bishop E4. I was about to say, I really didn't think he had much of a choice.
You thought you liked Bishop E4?
No, I thought D5 was forced. Bishop B4, E5, Bishop C3 takes on F6. Queen takes F6, Bishop E5. This looks like complications that should favor White.
And if that line you just mentioned virtually wins a piece,
because of the pin on the E5.
On the E file eventually.
Right.
But maybe Black should take on B2 instead of recapturing an F6.
Yeah, well, then I take on G7.
True.
And then
everybody's funky in that line.
Exactly.
This is
Bishop B4.
Crazy chess already, and Gary also
He can make a queen.
Thinking quite a bit in this position.
That's a wild position where we have 4 queens on the board momentarily. To review, Yaz is suggesting E5, Bishop C3 takes on F3, Bishop takes
F6.
B2, takes on G7. And then
he has played Bishop G5.
Whoa, this is
some very
odd
plays.
move. I mean, isn't H6 going to cause
or
problems?
Knight E4 is also a potential here because C3 is hanging.
Precisely. Bishop C3, BC3, Knight takes E4. No, that looks like a clean pawn.
That's good. That was a mistake, Bishop G5. I think that runs into this tactic.
Or is there something? C7 is hanging. Sorry, Knight E4, Bishop D8, Knight C3, King F3.
And he avoided the line completely with the move D6, giving Gary another chance. Bishop G4 is not quite a threat because of the... Wait, he allowed this idea again for a second time.
No,
Knight takes...
He played Knight F3.
Yeah,
right?
That's a good move. Just
because
Knight F3.
Now, after Knight
E4, Bishop takes D8, Knight takes E3 check, King D2.
Yeah, and at the end, the D6 hang is as well, so White's going to have a better endgame.
I don't know if White handled this the best way he could have. And now It looks as though there's smoother development on the part of black in this position. He will have to handle that center of whites as Gary's looking to play bishop d3, rook f1, king g1 as fast as possible.
Exactly.
And Sergey can't just develop pieces, but that e-pawn will be a target. And there he goes, right after the center with the move c5.
Right.
Although I have to say, that center doesn't look...
Oh, it looks stable.
He's going to play bishop g4. That's what he wants. He wants to be able to play bishop g4, knight c6, and crack the structure if possible.
I would start with the prophylactic h3,
and
just to stop.
That's exactly what he did.
And after knight c6, I'd post the bishop not on d3, Maurice. I like c4.
Right.
I like the c4 square. That's a nice diagonal. And now, thanks to c5, the d5 square is a good outpost for the bishop. But I absolutely agree with what you're saying. You want to play bishop c4, rook e1, and start tucking your king in as nicely as possible.
I was going to say, though, the challenge for you is that e-pawn. The pawn on e4, he's got to really focus on. He's played rook e8 to challenge his pawn, and now queen d3 has been played. And that shuts down the ability of the bishop on f1 to get into the game on gray squares.
Yes.
Gary still has not solved the problem of development with bishop e2. He's going to have to play more solidly and just hold on to his space. He also has to worry about a c4 shot at any point that will force him to play queen takes, rook takes on e4. So this is...
Or a b6 with the idea of bishop a6 and bishop b7.
Good point as well. I'm not really keen on this position for white. He's holding on to his space, but black is going to have pretty easy development. b6, as you mentioned, Jen, has been played, and rook e1 quickly to guard that e-pawn. This looks like black is absolutely okay. And now bishop b7, torturing the e-pawn even further, not even giving him a chance to play bishop to e2, and it's white who has trouble with space.
That queen d3 seemed like it was off kilter, because now we still need to get our bishop on f1 and our rook to f1 and our king to g1. We're not finished with our development here.
d5 looks almost forced.
Close it down.
No.
You don't want to play it, but what do you play?
G3.
G3.
I think white is better.
So you still like white?
Oh, yeah.
But if g3 and I play c4?
Knight c6, maybe?
No, what about
c4?
You take it? And allow...
I'll mate you on the back rank.
Oh, he's saying bishop b4, rook takes c4.
Correct.
So, yes. So that doesn't work at the moment, c4. But what about...
Let's play g3.
What about just developing the knight to d7?
Excellent move. Bishop g2.
And now...
Knight c6.
Now Maurice's idea of c4?
Yeah, that would be a trade. And fortunately, with the bishop on g2, white is ready finally
to play rook f1 and king
rook
g1.
f1 and king g1 and tuck things away. And don't forget, guys, there's going to be an e4, e5. Oh, they're playing so fast.
I want to play knight c6 instead, and that is what Sergey did.
Knight c6, bishop g2, rook c8.
Knight c6, bishop d2, a3.
And he played a3. I just feel like the lead in development really suggests that black is doing very well for some reason, but I don't know what move to drop right now. How do you...
Well, a3 was a prophylactic move against takes on d4 followed by knight b4.
Exactly, stops the one.
I mean, white needs 2 full moves right here. 2 full moves to get his act together. Where's the shot that black could use? He can't quite capture on
But black
d4.
is running low on time, Maurice.
That's a factor.
Knight
Whoa!
B8.
Knight b8, that was not what we were expecting.
Well, that's because black is just worse, guys. I'm telling you, there's just no play in the
c4
position.
is c4 a threat? Just ganging up?
Well, I would play rook e3 to stop c4. The idea of rook e3 is c4, then I'll drop back to e2 with my queen. So rook e3, he's played it.
Rook
Knight
e3,
d7,
then knight's configured back to d7. Maybe he's trying to remove his queen. Play
and now
queen g6.
rook e1, rook h1 to e1, just keeping that central pawn duo alive. Come on, Gary. Ooh, he played rook f1. I don't like that move. Rook e1, I really like Gary's position. Then he would play king g1 and king h2, and he would be great.
Move the queen out of the way to e7.
And look, he's going to have to bring his rook back to e1 anyway.
And then knight f6 is coming,
And
putting
then
some
I have
pressure
to
on
play
you.
knight d2, and that's not what Gary wanted when he... Rook f1 was a blunder, a mistake, sorry.
Yeah, in blitz we have to be careful about what we call blunders, right?
Yeah,
So
king g2.
King g1, rather.
King g1, hanging the e4 pawn. Why can't he take it?
And he's taken it. And Gary's played queen to e2. Note that Sergey's down to almost 20 seconds. Garry Kasparov, just like Levon thought, managing time a lot better. But what about his position, Yaz?
Why did he blunder his e4 pawn? If his rook was on e1, he would be boss in this position. Knight h4 to stop f5.
And
fortifying the bishop on e4.
And we're threatening
it's
something like
time.
takes on e4 and knight f5 and
g7, g6 just
14
to stop.
seconds left for black. 14 full seconds. Up a pawn, clearly doing very well, but will it be enough time for black to be able to win this one? And bishop takes
e4.
And now queen g4 with threats. Knight f5 potentially coming.
And importantly, stopping the consolidating f5.
Absolutely.
Knight f6 immediately played by Sergey. Queen g5, knight h5, back to g4. And Sergey might repeat.
Repeating, and Garry smells blood. But Sergey's happy to repeat in this position. Looking at the clock, knight f5 is still in the position.
But he's going down to 6 seconds.
And
he is playing knight g7, playing for the win.
Absolutely.
Well, f5's coming.
f5 is the big point.
But is this smart with just 8 seconds? Yes.
Well, let's
gamble.
That's a big gamble. But hey, look, if you're going to win, you got to risk.
Gamble.
Garry looking like he's dropping back. Queen e2.
Queen e2 takes on d4, takes on d4.
But f5 is coming.
Garry's very happy about that trade on d4. And
now the a-pawn got snapped off, and Sergey going for it. 2 pawns up. Can Garry make any headway with counterplay in this position?
Queen d g4, knight e6, I think was mistimed. g4.
Knight's trying to get to f3 with check. He's going to have to sacrifice an exchange in that position. And now it looks like black should be winning this position. Can Garry make any kind? Oh, there he's hesitating there
because he was hanging the c3 pawn on knight e3. That was why he took that back. Queen has to go to h6, f2 was his choice.
I know. Now the a-pawn maybe have to push just to make a move. Queen g5 with check. Rook g3.
King.
Sergey's only used 2 seconds.
And now he can take his pawn, and it's a sacrifice by Kasparov.
Not
looking
enough.
for perpetual.
Queen c2 check.
Queen d2 check.
And now he just has to get his queen on the right square. It looks like, but how does he quite do it? Is he still
Queen
checking?
E4 check.
No, but he can never take this. He can never take the knight.
No.
He can never, ever take the knight. And this discovery is in the position. And Garry looks like he might have saved the game. As he's continuing still to check. Sergey's checking on every single square he can.
Because he's trying to use the time, the 3-second delay, to figure out if there's any way out.
But he's not getting any increments with all of these moves.
No, he still has to face the problem of this knight.
5 seconds for Sergey and 30 seconds for Garry.
And we're back to the repeating again.
If we take the knight, it's just a draw. And what if we don't take the knight? There's just knight takes f8.
There are discoveries. There's strange discoveries in the position.
But are there any checkmating discoveries that
I think
are
we've had a 3-time repetition.
Must have had it by now.
2 seconds. He almost zeroed out. Oh my, a draw. That was a hard